And I spotted something on the internet the other day that I thought was actually more profound than you realize at first blush. It was just simply a question. It said, the older I get, I realize.
If I were to answer that question, I think that as I get older, I realize that the decisions that I make today do affect my tomorrow. So if I don't make any decisions today, if I don't make any plans, if I'm not thinking about things, then that's going to impact my future because I haven't bothered making plans.
And I know I've learned that as well, right? You can't just kind of sit there and wait for
Life to happen.
You know? And even within our faith community too, sometimes I know I've been guilty of this, being a bit too passive about it. You know, you've maybe not been happy with your work or maybe your relationships or something like that. And you pray and you ask God to do stuff and that's all well and good. But realizing how true it is that God shows up through the actions that you take. And in some ways, I feel like sometimes, Nerida, He's willing to bless way more stuff than I think we realize if we just actually go out and do something.
And make it happen. Yeah.
I've made more peace with the fact over the last few years, as I've got older, I've realized that it's perfectly normal and natural that if you are trying something new, that it probably won't work the way you want it to the first 2 or 3 times. And that's not a sign you shouldn't do it or that you need to chuck it in the bin. But just often you need to kind of figure things out by trying them out and stumbling kind of ahead. Nothing's wrong or broken.
Develop that perseverance muscle. You know, it's like, let's just keep chipping away at this and eventually we will get there. Keep putting one foot in front of the other and eventually you get there.
I have learnt as I've got older that a lot of life's struggles are not unique, and that is quite comforting.
Yeah, true.
You feel quite isolated and like, this is my unique struggle experience that I have to grapple with, and sort of when you encounter somebody who has actually had a similar experience and you go, oh, well, actually this is not unique to me, it's almost takes a lot of the power of the struggle away.
Oh, it makes such a big difference, when you actually sit down with a friend and you kind of finally decide to be vulnerable and share your thing and they're like, oh, yeah, that was me, you know, a couple of years ago. Oh, my gosh, I thought I was the only person in the world.
Well, they don't react. I think now with a little bit of common sense, you realize this is most likely the reality. They're not going to... The belief is they're going to react with, oh, my gosh. No.
Yeah, they're going to be shocked and horrified.
Yeah.
That's...
It kind of reminds me of a quote I heard from Breanne Brown, who's pretty famous in these circles around speaking about vulnerability and that kind of stuff. And she made an observation once where she said, you know, vulnerability is courage in other people, but it's weakness in me. And that idea that when you see another person be vulnerable about something they've struggled with, almost universally we go, wow, that's amazing that they would have the courage to speak up about that. I'm so impressed. That's so amazing. And yet, in ourselves, if we feel like we're going to say it, people are going to say, oh, well, that's...
You know, you feel like for yourself that you're weak.
Yeah.
But you're not.
But
not
you're not
at all.